Hey friends and fam, what's going on? How are ya? Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating. It's been a while since I did a podcast. It's good to be back. Thank you for joining me yet again. How are you all doing? Hope it's been going great. Hope you got to spend a nice time with family during the holidays and there wasn't too much drama with the family. That can definitely happen sometimes. Didn't happen with me. I had a good time. I had a good, delicious time. I didn't spend a lot of time on social media. No posting, no nothing, which was a wonderful and welcome break. So yeah, 2023 has come to an end. I was going back through my pictures, trying to see kind of what kind of a year I've had to get a sense of it all. It's been a great year. I was looking back. I started off the year with some great vacations with my family, going off to Mexico and Miami to start the year. Then I had a fun little friend gathering where we did this thing called Public Sweat. That was in March, where they had like a bunch of saunas. I think there was in total 7 saunas all set up in downtown Toronto, and you could pay and go check those out. So a big group of friends, we went and did it together. Then near the start of the summer, end of May, my son went to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he did that for 3 months. And that was a big part of the summer for me because while he kind of liked doing it, it was also a little difficult for him to get into it. And I had to be there in the class kind of side by side, really encouraging him. But so I was really participating quite a bit. But by the end of it, we did like a 3-month trial. And at the end of the 3 months, he was able to do the classes without my participation, without me being there. I would just drop him off and go away. So that was a pretty cool experience to see that transition of him not kind of really wanting to participate and kind of just watching from afar to getting right in there and not even needing me. And I think that played a big part in him being comfortable starting kindergarten. Then the rest of the summer was great too. The wife and I went on a great trip to Banff. Then I had a couple of cottage opportunities, one with friends and one with family, both of which were great. Then later in the fall, in October, I had my half marathon run, which that was part of my overall goal for the year. I ran a half marathon in under 2 hours. That was the goal. Then in November, I had an opportunity to go on a deer hunt with some friends, which was a lot of fun. I wasn't successful in hunting a deer, but my friends were, and I got to have a share of the prize, which has been delicious. I've been really enjoying that so far. And then finally, in December, finished off our basement renovations just before the holidays, which has been great because we've been able to have some great family memories already down there in that finished basement. And now I've got the new gym set up down there with a new folding squat rack that folds right into the wall. It's awesome to use. The kids have been loving it. I've been loving it. Everyone who's seen it has been loving it. So yeah, 2024 is off to a great start. Having that basement down there, it makes a real difference for like just being active. As soon as we get down there, we get a couple movements in, warm up the body. It's great. I've got some nice soft padding down there that the kids love running on and jumping on and doing all sorts of things on. So it's been great. I'm going to use it for all my training this year coming up, as my new goal for the year is now going to be to complete a full marathon. Right? Last year was the half marathon. This year is going to be the full. By the way, the half marathon, I did write a summary about everything I did for my training, everything I learned, all the techniques of running I've incorporated, and also my race day kind of preparation, how it all felt and how it all went down and results. I wrote everything down. It's on my Substack. You can check it out. I released the podcast on YouTube as well, and all the podcatcher apps can get it too. So check that out on my State of Health podcast. The latest episode has all that on there. You can also read about it on the Substack, jmartfit.substack.com. Yeah, please check that out. Leave a comment. I've had a bunch of people that I've asked to leave a comment, and we've had 30 something comments on my YouTube for that particular episode. Mind you, half of those are just me replying to the comments, but still lots of comments on there. So go check that out. Anyway, what else? The start of the year, like I said, it's been a good start as well. I'm not sure if anyone knows this, but at the start of the year, January 3rd, that is Bitcoin's birthday. As you all know, if you listen to this podcast often, I do like to talk about Bitcoin, as I call this podcast JMARTcast, my podcast about physical and financial health. I like to talk about physical health because I'm a personal trainer, and being health and living a long life is a passion of mine, something I care about a lot. Financial health is also something that's very important to me, as it has become more important in recent time, but it always has been. As an immigrant who moved to Canada when I was 12 and moved around a lot as a child, starting from the age of 8, but even before that, anyway, money's always been on my mind. Finances have always been on my mind. Didn't really understand things very much until recently, but now that I do understand things quite a bit better, I do like to talk about Bitcoin as the solution to many of the problems that but I and many others like me and around my age that we face for the world that we live in. So yeah, Bitcoin birthday happened January 3rd. The first birthday was 2009. Today's Bitcoin, not today, but this year, Bitcoin turned 15 years old, midway through the teen years, I guess, or the decade, midway through the second decade of its life. Don't know what to say about it other than last year was a good year for Bitcoin. It was up 150% from the start of the year. If you bought some, then you're probably in the green. Most people who have ever bought some Bitcoin are in the green, even though it's something like 30% down from its all-time high. But you got to remember that it doesn't spend very long in that all-time high, right? It's only there briefly and then comes back down and eventually surpasses it again. It's a cycle that keeps continuing and continuing as more people realize that Bitcoin is a better form of money than what they're currently using. The fiat paper money that exists today is no good. It is unable to provide the services that money is supposed to provide. Paper money does not store value for us very well. In fact, it loses its value very quickly, which is why people spend it to buy real stuff, such as houses and gold and whatever. They buy stocks too and bonds and all that, although those are not as great choices. Yeah, paper money does not do that. Fiat money does do that. More and more people over time realize that. As more and more people start using it, they give more value to it. And yeah, you can guess what happens from there. But I don't want to talk too much about Bitcoin today. I wanted to just mention one more thing, health related, that really caught my interest recently. I was listening to a podcast, the Max Lugavere podcast, I think it's called. I actually was checking it out on YouTube. He's got his YouTube page, the Max Lugavere YouTube page. He had an episode about nitric oxide. The episode title is called Nitric Oxide, the Holy Grail of Inflammation and Disease. Fix this for longevity. And he interviews Dr. Nathan Bryan for this podcast. And I thought it was an excellent podcast. The doctor talks about mouthwash and how mouthwash kills bacteria in the mouth that produce nitric oxide, and this causes high blood pressure, and high blood pressure is a risk factor for many diseases. So if you are a user of mouthwash, consider not doing that. Or something that I used to do actually a lot is I would dilute it quite a bit to the point where it was almost basically mostly water. That might be a good option too. But yeah, it's not that great to kill the bacteria in your mouth. And then you're just helping out the not so good bacteria in there to take a hold and give you bad breath and do a bunch of other stuff that's not good, right? Like high blood pressure is just not good. So check that podcast out, Max Lugavere, Nitric Oxide podcast. It's pretty good. Let's see. It's already got 1.3 million views. Holy cow. Yeah. So anyway, the last thing I guess I just wanted to say is to let people know that in addition to the full marathon goal that I have for this year, the other thing that I'm going to be doing, another goal is going to be a consistent live streamer. So this year I'm going to be live streaming fitness classes, and I'm going to be using my brother's platform called FITNEKS, FITNEKS, fitneks.com, for live streaming. He's made a special platform specifically for this purpose, for trainers to stream classes, for people to join these classes and to follow along and do them. So it's a match made in heaven, and I'm going to be doing this consistently. Made a promise to myself to do it on Wednesdays at 11 a.m., short half-hour class. It's my body basics class, which is a bodyweight training class that requires no equipment. It's for beginners and intermediates, and it's it's a great way to get a little bit of movement in and learn the basics of how to move and train your body. I used the platform already once to do one class. That was last year, and I actually recorded that class. I recorded the screen on my phone, which I was using for the live streaming, and I actually ended up posting that on my YouTube channel, so check that out as well. It's a nice little follow-along class, basically, just a half hour long. It takes you through a little bit of breathing, a short warm-up, 4 exercises that are kind of a variation of push-pull, a bilateral and unilateral squat exercises, and then we do a short cool down as well with some stretching. And that's going to be the basic format of these classes. So join me every Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. I'll have a link available both in the description of the podcast as well as on all my socials. Looking forward to doing that consistently and getting a crew of people who join me to do the class with me. I think if you join, you'll get a great benefit out of it, and you'll get a little boost for the day. You'll get an extra boost of energy, which is, in my opinion, a good way to judge the not just the effectiveness, but the impact of the class or of the workout. Does the workout give you more energy for the rest of the day, or does it drain the energy away from you? What I'm gonna aim for that first option, where after doing that, you will feel more energized to be more active throughout the rest of the day. All right, with that, we've come to the end of the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me again this week. I appreciate you all. Please leave a comment, communicate with me, send me a message at jmartfit@substack.com. You can also reach me through social media. I'm on Nostr. All the links are in the description. Love you all. Have a good week. Stay active. Be grateful. JMART out.